Hello class, welcome to your video instructions for completing the CSS Backgrounds project. Alright, so in this project what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about how to create different backgrounds using CSS in our coding. So far the only backgrounds that we've used are just solid plain colored backgrounds, but we're not limited to just those. If we can use CSS, we're able to add images and then alter those images to create different effects. Alright, so that's going to be the focus here for this lesson and this project. Alright, so if we take a look, the first thing that we have to do is we have to create a new page within our Freshman 101 project. So what you're going to have to do is go out to Code.hs, alright, and I already have it opened up. You're going to have to open up your sandbox, okay, and then open up your Freshman 101 project. Alright, my Freshman 101 project is already opened. Alright, and at this point in the class, you should have 5 pages in your Freshman 101 project. You should have your index, your list, your table, your image, and most recently we added CSS color into the project. So now what we're going to do is we are going to create a new file and we're going to call it CSS Background.html. So we go over here to the left side of Code.hs, we click the new plus button, we select file, and then we name our file. So in capital letters, CSS, capital B, and then lowercase background.html. Okay, so type it exactly like you see it on the screen here, and then once that's completed, click the blue Add File button. Okay, and we notice that over here on the left, the file that we just created has been added into our project. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the directions. Okay, we've created our new page. Okay, what it's telling us to do here is that we're going to actually take our coding that we previously added to the CSS color page. We're going to take all of it and we're going to copy it over to the CSS background page that we just created. So we did it in a little bit of reverse order as it's described here on the page, but it's all going to get us to the same spot. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back to Freshman 101. We're going to click here on CSS color. Alright. We're going to click down, hold our mouse, okay, and we're going to drag it over top of all the stuff that we previously put in here to create the CSS color page. Okay, so it's going to be highlighted in a light blue color. You're simply going to right click with your mouse, click copy, go back over to your CSS background file, and go ahead and paste it into CSS background. Alright, so that's taken care of. Let's go back to our directions. Alright, now after we add a new page into CSS, hopefully this is kind of old habit by now, you have to go back and you have to add your new link into all of the existing pages within your program. Alright, so we're going to go back, we're going to start on the index page. Here are all my links that I've previously created. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start after the last link, which was the CSS color page. I'm going to go ahead and type out my link tag. Okay, and then you put in the name of the file that we just created, CSS background. Make sure that you're not adding any additional spacing. Make sure that it is capitalized the same exact way as what we named the file. We'll close the opening tag. Our closing link tag gets brought in, and then we have to put the text for the link, which will be CSS background. Okay, and with CSS background you can add a space. That's perfectly okay. Alright, I'm going to take this link. I'm going to copy all of the coding on this line of code. Okay, I'm just going to work through the pre-existing pages that already have some links. So I'm going to click on my table page. Okay, after my CSS color link that I previously added, I'll just paste in my CSS background. They'll do that with all the other pages as well. Okay, so now we're on the list page, pasting it in. We already did index, so we'll skip down to the image page, pasted it there. Okay, and on CSS color, I don't think we previously added, yes we did, down here. Okay, so remember, your links are going to appear lower. They're now in your body tags, and we added a whole bunch of style tags to CSS color, so you're going to have to look a little bit further down in your coding. and we will paste it right there. All right. So now what we can do is we can go back to our index page, and actually what we'll do is we'll start on the CSS color page. We'll take the links from the CSS color page. Okay, so there's those. We'll copy all of them, and we will put them. And you know what? You actually don't have to do that because I forgot. We copied them over already when we copied over all the coding for CSS color. So you can actually ignore that last little part. All we have to do is just add the background link to the background page itself. Okay, so a little bit less work for us there. All right, make sure that you're saving as you're going. Okay, we're going to take a look at it by running the program. There's my CSS background link on my index page. I click it, it takes me to my CSS background page, which is going to look identical to your CSS color page at this point. All right, so just initial setup stuff for adding a new file into the Freshman 101 program. All right, so now let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, what I want to do is I just want to review quickly adding comments. We did this previously, all right, but we are going to go ahead and just review it. Remember, comments can be added anywhere within your program. All right, we previously added them up here, okay, right at the beginning of the body, or right after the body tag above our links. But if you notice when we go over here to the output, what we created, there is no comments. You don't see it, all right? And that's the advantage of a comment. You can add it into your coding. It's not going to appear on the web page. So I always kind of think of it like a sticky note, all right? If you leave a sticky note as a reminder to somebody at home or maybe somebody at school, all right, it's meant for them. These comments are typically used as reminders to coders as they're working on developing a page. You know, little notes to different members of the team that might be working on the project. You know, go back and fix this, take a look at this, sort of things, okay? The user's not going to see the comments. All right, so just a review there of what we previously learned. Okay, now, what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead, we're going to skip over background color. You know, we've added background color before. You can add it in using CSS. You know what, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at it just real quick. Okay, so we have our style tags right here. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to work up at the top. We're going to make a space directly after our initial style tag. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're put in our body. Okay, opening curly bracket. And then what we have to do if we want to do background color is we simply type background dash color colon, and then we can choose whatever color we want. All right, for this project, let's just go ahead and make it tan. We save it, we run it. Okay, there's CSS background, and you notice that the background color has turned to a tan color. Now you can do that with the body HTML tags as well. Okay, body style equals. All right, so that's a little bit of a review, just a different way to do it. Moving forward, you should be using CSS to make those style changes. Now, for this particular project, though, we do want to focus on our images. Okay, how do we add pictures to the backgrounds of our pages? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this tag that we just created, and we're going to get rid of the color and everything after it. And we're going to change it to background-image instead. Okay, we put in the colon, the two little dots on top of each other, and then we add the letters URL. Okay, because how we're going to be adding images is we're going to be finding pictures out on the internet and then pulling those photos into our individual websites and web pages, and it's going to get put across the back of the individual pages, and that's how we're going to be getting our background images. So we have to give our coding a location out on the internet to pull the image from, and that's what the URL represents. Okay, now here you have to be very careful. You want to put in an opening parentheses, and you'll notice that CodeHS will automatically bring in a closing parentheses. And then inside the parentheses, you want to go ahead and you want to put quotation marks. And once you put in the opening quotation mark, the closing quotation mark will be brought in once again. All right. Within these quotation marks, this is where we're going to be putting our image addresses in order to get a background image. All right, so there are all kinds of images out on the internet, obviously. What I want to do is I want to take a moment to talk about choosing an appropriate image, okay? It's a little bit hard to see here, but when you are thinking about a background image for your page, you want to go with something that's fairly basic, something that's sort of plain looking. I know it may not be the most exciting photo in the world to look at, but I'm going to show you why you want more of a simple image as opposed to something that might have a little bit more going on with it. All right, so let's go ahead. I've gone ahead and I've done a Google image search for gardens. All right, and I found this photo, you know, beautiful garden. It's a very nice picture. All right, this is not a great background though. So what I did was I clicked on the photo and I opened it up on the individual website, and you want to do that as well when you're getting your image addresses. Okay, now here's the photo on the website. I right click it, I come down and I choose copy image address. Okay, you always do copy image address. If you do copy image, it's not going to work for you. So I select it, I go back to my project, and I'm going to paste it inside those quotation marks. Okay, now I'm going to save it. I'm going to run it, okay, because I want to see what this background looks like. Okay, and you can see the background is there. Now notice you're only getting a portion of the photo because the photo is a lot bigger than the little preview over here, but you can clearly see that it got added to the back. Now, hopefully, you can also see, I can make it a little bit bigger too, that the content, the words, the tables that we previously had on this website are very difficult to read. Like here's one of the paragraphs that we wrote, okay? It's really tough to read that given the background that we chose. So really nice photo, but it doesn't really serve the purpose, all right? So this is something that you have to be careful about. Now to illustrate what a good background would look like, I also have another image already pulled up, okay, of this photo. Now this photo is more of just a texture pattern, so it's very simple, it's very basic, it's very plain, it's not very exciting. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to copy the image address, okay, why this would serve, I'm all over the place here, why this would serve as a better background. So I'm going to get rid of this address for the old garden image, and I'm going to paste the new address for the plain textured background. Okay, I'm going to save it and run it again. I'm going to go ahead and open it up, click on CSS Background, and you can see that once again the image was added, and it's a lot easier to read the content on the page. I can still read everything that we previously created, especially the table as well. So a little bit of comparing and contrasting here. This, bad, this, much better. All right, so something that you have to keep in mind as you're going to be using background images moving forward for your projects. Okay, less is more when it comes to backgrounds. All right, so that is how you add the image itself. All right, we talked about busy images compared to plain images. Now what I want to do is I want to show you how after we add the images themselves, different things that we can do with the images. All right, so we're going to use this as an example. Now I know it's probably difficult to see in the video, but what you'll notice, you can kind of see it right here where my mouse is at. You notice that we go from a fairly bright white color to a little bit of a darker black color, or darker white color that looks a little bit more black. What's happening here is the image that I chose was not big enough to fit the entire background of the page. So what CodeHS automatically does is it takes the small image and it repeats it over and over and over again, up and down, left to right, until it fills the whole space. All right? So that's what we're seeing here right now. So what we can do is we can adjust the repeating pattern of the image. Sorry for the bell, everybody. All right, so to do that, what we need to do is we need to use a repeat command within our background or our body style tag. Okay, so this is what we want right here: background dash repeat, and then we're going to do repeat dash X, and we're going to talk about what that is. So let's go ahead. I'm going to close some tabs now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the end after my semicolon, and this is where I'm going to type backgrounds dash repeat colon repeat dash x. Okay, I'm going to save, going to run, going to go to my CSS background page, and once again I'm going to have to open it up so you can see how this worked. And it did not work. Okay, so let's go back and take a look what might have happened here. Okay, so we're back. What I noticed about the image that I initially chose, which was this one right here, the image was actually too tall for me to be able to show you the repeat X. So what I did was I found a smaller picture, okay, this guy right here, and I went ahead and I just put it into my image background. Now, what you can see is that repeat X command, all right, it now takes the image and it just repeats it left to right, all right? So if you are familiar with X and Y axes, maybe from math class, your X axis runs left to right. So when you tell the computer to repeat along the X axis, it's only going to repeat the image left to right. It won't repeat it up and down, all right? So we can go back into our coding here, okay, and we can easily change this to be repeat Y as well. And what you'll notice, okay, and it's this slide, is that the image will repeat up and down, but not left and right. So we go in, repeat dash Y, we save, we run, we'll just open it up. Okay, and now my image, you can clearly see, is running up and down, but no longer running left to right because we got rid of the X and we replaced it with Y. All right. Now, the reality is most pages that are actually created are not going to repeat up and down or just left to right, okay? Because it looks weird. It's a very odd sort of style. I mean, there may be certain times when a developer would want to do this for a particular reason, but it's not very commonly used, all right? But it is an option if you ever want it for a particular style effect. Okay, other things that we can do with our background images is we can choose not to repeat the image. So if we go back, I'm going to close some things up here. We take our background dash repeat rule, okay, and we just say, you know what? Don't repeat the image. Okay, so we'll just do no dash repeat. Save. We'll run it. We'll open it up. And now the image is just there one time. And notice where it's placed. It'll automatically be placed in the upper left-hand corner of your page. What we're going to see here in a little bit is that we can change the position of where the image is going to go. All right. So background image, check. Background repeat, check. Moving on. Okay, so moving on, we're going to work on positioning our images. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to go back into our coding. Okay, we're going to type background dash position. This is another rule that's going to be applied to the body tag. Okay, colon. And now what we can do is we can tell the page or the code, you know what, instead of it being positioned in the upper left-hand corner, let's push it over to the upper right-hand corner. So what I do is I type right, and that'll tell it, put it on the right side of the page, and keep it across the top. Keep it across the top of the page. Okay, so we're going to save and run. We'll open it up. And you can see now the image is over here as compared to where it was previously over here. Okay, we can also center our image as well. Okay, so the code for that is right here, background dash position center. All we got to do is go back, change right top to center, and it'll put it right in the middle of the page. Okay, and we don't have to open it up. We can probably see it. Well, we'll open it up, I guess. It's now centered left to right and centered up and down in the page itself. All right, so once again, if you're looking for that style effect, you have the ability to customize your page to make it that way. Moving on then, okay, we can also adjust the size of the image, all right, using a background dash size CSS rule. So we'll go back, we'll add that after background position, background dash size, Okay, now the size that you are going to use is cover. Okay, and what that is going to do is it's going to tell the computer, take this image and stretch it so that it covers the whole background just one time. I don't want it to repeat like we saw previously. I want one image and then just stretched, okay, to fill the whole space. So let's go ahead and save. We will run and open. Okay, and now hopefully you can see the whole background is filled, all right, and we're not getting that repeat effect that we previously saw when we first added the photo into the background. Okay, we're getting just one solid image, okay, and it's not getting that repeated checkerboard pattern. All right, the reality is this: most web pages use a background, if they're going to use a background image that has the cover effect on their page. All right, it's just, you know, what we're most accustomed to seeing. Most people would say it looks the best. All right, so that background dash size cover CSS rule is widely used amongst developers. All right, there is one final thing that I want to cover with you, okay, and it is background attachment. Okay, the background attachment that you have available to you is fixed. Okay, what this is going to do is it is going to keep the background image locked as a person scrolls up and down on their screen. Okay, so let's go ahead, background dash attachment colon fixed. Okay, if we save and we run, okay, we're going to open this up. Now what I have to do to kind of show you how this works is I'm going to have to make my browser a little bit smaller. I'm going to have to make Google Chrome a little bit smaller. So bear with me here for a second. Okay, so now I have to scroll down on this page in order to see the stuff at the bottom, right? Okay, so if I scroll down, you notice that it looks like the content, it kind of floats over top of the background, right? Whereas if I go to the other one, you don't really get that effect, okay? The background moves with the content. Okay, you can kind of see it here. You see Unsplashed in the back. If I scroll up, you notice how Unsplashed moves further down the page. Okay, and if I go to my fixed attachment, I don't even, you see Unsplashed right here? Unsplashed doesn't move. It's because the background is fixed. It's not going to move up and down as I scroll. And when you see it, you'll notice a difference. Okay, you probably notice it a little bit on the video here, but when you see it on your own individual pages, it's going to be much more apparent. Okay, so that's a fixed background attachment. It's just a style effect that can be used on individual pages. It does, like I said a couple times now, it does make the content look like it's floating over top of the background image. Personally, I like it. Some people don't. It's just a matter of preference. All right, so this is your background image lesson and Freshman 101 assignment. Okay, make sure to use this video to help you complete the assignment on your own. All right, use it as a resource to go back and review any of the items that we've covered here today, and make sure that you use it to help you with upcoming projects when you need to add or modify background images to your pages. Make sure to turn your Freshman 101 into Canvas so that you can receive credit for it.